Hey guys, how are you doing tonight? So in this video, God said I should talk to you about resistance and about why it is wrong or not good for you. So these are obvious things, right? But a lot of the time we forget about them. And when we get caught up in situations, we forget about this important thing. So basically, resistance is not good for us, for anyone. Because when you resist a situation, it only gets harder. So you only sort of waste your energy on things that are out of your control. And basically it is a lot easier for you to just surrender and go with the situation, go with the flow, and just if there's things that you need to go through, you'll have to go through it. But if you resist, say you have a hard situation or you have some kind of a hardship going on and you just really don't want to go through it, you don't want to do it, and you kind of start complaining, you start saying things, or you start thinking how to run away from the situation, or things like that. It's resistance. You're resisting your own path. But a lot of the time, it is mainly like, getting frustrated and complaining about the situation instead of facing it. So what I find the best thing to do in any situation like that is to just surrender and to just go through it and just be like, kind of like, bring it on. Fine, like, bring it on. I'll go through it, kind of attitude. And it gets easier, and then you see it's not even that bad. So that's what it is. So I just want to remind us all that not to resist anything, because especially in these times, because a lot of things are unpredictable, and everyone's life path is different, right? So things you have to go through in your life is your life, but not everything is how can I say it? It's like not everything you can manipulate or control, and there are certain things that we go through to learn things, to get experience. There are certain things that are there to show us that, the situation may seem scary and like something you never thought you would do, or something you thought was wrong or shameful, because that's usually the things that you don't want to do, right? The things that you believe are like wrong or shameful, but wrong in terms of like in your kind of personal mind, wrong, like not wrong according to God. No, according to God's law, they're fine. But, in your own understanding, they may seem as wrong or shameful, or, things are like, I don't know. Those things people usually avoid and don't want to do. And then they're faced with a situation like that. And then you go through it, and then you see that it's actually not that bad. There's actually nothing wrong with it. And, or when people have some kind of prejudice or, some kind of view of things that are not even real. So, best thing is just go with it, do it, and it's easier that way. And then you see that there was a reason you had to do it. I'm thinking of a good example I could give you with this. So say, I don't even know. Say you're just doing your thing, right? But then you're worried that people will not understand you if you do something in a certain way, or people will not understand you if you say things in a certain way. But in actuality, there's nothing wrong with it. In actuality, that's just your thing, you know, and that's just your life. So what does anyone have to say anything about your life? It's your personal life, right? It's not their life. So you know, in my life I gave up worrying so much about what other people think a long time ago, because now I see, if I was worried too much about these things, about who's gonna think what, who's gonna say what, I would have missed out on so many amazing things that happened in my life. And the only reason they happened was because I believed in God. I believed this was my path. I believed this is what I had to do, right? Because we walk by faith, not by sight. And walking by sight would be actually kind of caring about what others are going to think or say. But I also learned that in my whole life, no matter what I did, there were always people who would always have something to say, and who would always think that they know better. And they would also be kind of like the one saying that isn't fair, you know, that she gets to be happy when, you hear how it sounds. So, it's your life. Do it your way. And, yeah. Actually, there's so many things that I did in my life just because it's my life. I don't want to give you quotes, like the lyrics of the songs, right? What was it? It's now or never. Right? There's a lot of songs about that. About this. And I could talk about this forever, but it's not just about the choices that I made in my life, like as in career-wise or anything, but there's even like small things, you know, because being a chosen one, what it also means is that you are pushed by God into all kinds of unusual situations that people just usually don't do, or people have prejudice about doing, or people are just scared to do because, what others are gonna think. And my life is full of situations like that. And I'm kind of getting used to it. I mean, I'm used to it. It's, every situation is new. Like, I never have the same situations, but I have a lot of situations where they're so unusual, they're so unique. They're so, a lot of people are just like, how or why? Or, they're having question marks on their, minds, and they don't understand it. But they have no choice, right? And they have nothing to say because it's not wrong to do what I do. Because a lot of the time in this situation, God would push me to go there. I would literally have no other choice because, I also feel people's energy. I also feel what they feel. So I can kind of even know what they're thinking. So I would even want to avoid making someone confused, or making someone worried, or making someone uneasy about a certain situation that I'm about to throw them into with me. But I also have no other choice a lot of the time, and actually all the time. They just trust, and things always work out. And then you also kind of see that every time it was the right thing to do, every time that was the path, every time you see that that was the steps I needed to take. And you also see that, you know, it's the people who would be judgmental or say something that would end up, if not kind of wrong, but kind of the ones who judged for no reason, you know, kind of thing. So, you know, if in all these situations I was just resisting and complaining, and sometimes I do, like, I'm honestly, sometimes I do, sometimes I'm like, God, why are you doing this to me? Like, why are you putting me through this? Sometimes I do that too, because some of the situations are just, you know, really like that. But then you also see that, you know, some of the things I had to do were inevitable, and it's actually better that way. But yeah, like I said, if you complain, if you resist that, then all it does is just make it harder. It makes it harder to go through these situations. So, best thing is not to resist and actually try to sort of relax and just try and enjoy it. You know, say you have to carry a heavy furniture, right? So you could just, all the way that you have to carry it through, you could just complain and be negative and say like how unfortunate you are that you have to carry this furniture. You could do that, but all it's gonna do is gonna make your path harder. Okay, I talk about this and I kind of think about the cross because I do suppose that, you know, you guys get the idea that I do talk about the cross that we have to pick up and carry in this life, and sometimes it's hard. But say it's furniture, okay? But you could also just relax and sort of try and enjoy your walk, and, you know, try and just enjoy the carrying. And this way it's going to be easier for you too. And it's going to go a lot smoother, and you're going to feel better. And that's how life is sometimes. So, I hope this makes sense, but yeah, that's what it is with the cross, you know, analogy. That's how it is. And if it's your life, if it's your purpose, then there is no way out of it, right? If that's what was decided for you, you have to do it. There's a reason behind everything. So, I hope this makes sense about the resistance, because God said I should talk about the resistance. And God is so interesting because while I talk about a lot of things, He prophetically answers to some of my questions or some of my situations of my life in His own way. It's so interesting. But anyway, I hope this video helps. So whenever you felt with hardships, instead of resisting, instead of complaining, instead of being negative, instead of saying things, instead of complaining to God and being like, God, why? Just, you know, go with it. Go through it. Just be like, bring it on. And sometimes it's easier said than done. I know. You know, there are some situations where it was a lot easier. It was a lot easier before it is, right? New levels, new devils. So, anyway, you get the idea, you get the message. So don't resist your path. trust God, even if you don't understand anything. Okay? And God knows. God's with you. Okay? So this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening, for watching. Here's some light. And I'll see you next time.